Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. A while ago I did a video about the effect of MGTOW in India, and I thought I'd have another look to see what's happening on the Indian subcontinent. So looking around, I found this article. I don't know the date, I've had a look through it, but it's all about the MGTOW. As you can see, it's men start to go their own way and avoid relationships with women now. Apparently a Bollywood actress by the name of that said that she do not need a man except for children, and is somewhat similar to the statement of a famous feminist Gloria Steinman, women need men like a fish need a bicycle. Now the article goes on about how MGTOW is becoming an increasing element in Indian society and how it's going to be affecting India per se as men decide to go their own way. It says, apart from India, there's a significant population of MGTOW men in America and Europe. In Japan, they're called herbivore men. These men think that the gender relationships in modern world is so full of vitriol it's not worth taking the pain to be in a relationship or have children. Now, apparently, if I can find it, it says, MGTOW men exist all over India. There's 1.4 billion people in India, so that means there's 700 million guys in India, which means a large and growing proportion of them could be MGTOWs. We found that men in the southern states, in West Bengal and Maharashtra, are more likely to be MGTOWs than men from the more traditional northern India provinces. Now it says, MGTOW men work in the textile industry. Many of them own big apartments and often go on regular holidays and enjoy their free life. And then it goes, while MGTOW men may face some hostility from society and feminists in Western countries, in India they look at these Indian guys for their inspiration. And it finishes off, MGTOW men hope that feminists like that lady at the top and this other Indian lady will not mind if men also start putting their career and their personal well-being and happiness ahead of everything, including relationships or having children of their own. Now the effect of that will be a falling population. So looking around on that emphasis, I found this on Quora. Will society collapse if the majority of men become MGTOW? And it says birth rates are declining in a vast variety of reasons. This is the only reply to that question, by the way, and will most likely continue to fall, if not plummet. MGTOW is a logical offshoot of this cultural shift. It is somehow a new concept in American culture, but this time, however, it appears to be for real. There's an end result in an enormously elderly population being supported by a fraction of the necessary workers. Well, industry is becoming a lot automated, so in the future they won't need as many workers as automation takes over jobs. There's an awful lot of jobs now which are done automatically. And it says, and a collection of sorts will eventually follow. How bad it will be will vary by country and unpredictable technological mitigation strategies. Now looking around, on this site called Economics, it says the impact of falling birth rates. Now take notice of 62-64. That is when feminism more or less started going with the women's rights movement in America. Now notice the steep decline in global rate as feminism kicked in and gained traction in America. Now if you go down, there's also a video to explain the above. The fertility rate, once again, look at 62-64. American women were at peak fertility rates, and then feminism kicked in and down it went till they're here. Now, this article is written by a British guy at Oxford University, so I wouldn't take too much notice of it. But looking around, I found this one from a site called EconoFact, and it says the mystery of the declining US birth rate. Now, this was written February 15th, 2022, or 10 months or so ago. And it doesn't go back into 64, but you see in 2005, 2008, 2007, this is when MGTOW more or less kicked in as a reply to third wave toxic feminism that think all men are rapists and we don't need no men, and look at the decline in US birth rates. Now the article goes down explaining blah blah blah, but this bit at the end is quite interesting if I can highlight it. It says, if the decline in birth reflects a semi-permanent shift in priorities as opposed to transitionary economic or political factors, the US is likely to see a sustained decline in birth rates and a general decline in fertility for the foreseeable future. This has consequences for the projected US economic growth and productivity, as well as the fiscal sustainability of current social insurance programs. Well, most get rid of that. Now that affects women more than guys, because unmarried mothers, etc., are more dependent on daddy government than guys, and it's mostly aimed at supporting women and not men. This is based on a book called The Puzzle of Falling US Birth Rate Since the Great Recession. So let's just click on that, see what it brings up. And the American Economic Association. And that's all you're going to get. Now, nowhere does it say MGTOW, nowhere does it say feminism. But the Great Recession disrupted a stable period of birth rates. That was in probably the 1920s for almost 3 decades, between 1980 and 2007. The birth rate hovered. Now it says the declining births cannot really be explained by changing population composition. And it says, there we go. Births have fallen among white women, black women and Hispanic women, with the largest declines in Hispanic women. Births have also fallen among women with and without college degrees, and both among married and unmarried women. The population of US women of childbearing age has actually shifted towards groups that tend to have higher birth rates. That could be African Americans, with the exception of rising share of women of childbearing age being unmarried. In other words, lots of chads running around with unmarried mothers, and they want to find a man to raise Chad's children. If they can't find it for Chad's children, it's Tyrone's children. Now, what has this to do with MGTOW? Guys have wised up, and they want to know, will society collapse if the majority of men become MGTOW? Well, society is starting to collapse with the declining birth rate, because guys find out that a paternity fraud that I covered in another video is on the rise, with 2 to 7.7 million children born in the US without the biological father, different to the guy that the woman is with. So the impact of falling birth rates, especially in America, is going to be dramatic. As you can see, from when feminism kicked in, America shot itself in the foot. Japan is also in decline, and the Japanese population is set to go to 53 million by 2060. Won't affect me because I'll be long dead by then, but it seems that feminism has had a knock-on effect that the consequences that the originators of the women's rights movement in America didn't really expect, and now we're suffering the consequences. But guys will no doubt survive because men go in their own way and guys can survive on their own, whereas women can't. Sorry, this is a bit iffy, people, but there's not much around. I'll see if I can find something more on this topic, but for now I think we're on the 10-minute mark. You know the routine: like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. But if you're in America, things are going to get really interesting because, as you can see, the birth rate is well below replacement level, and importing lots of brown people is not going to help the US economy improve. And next year, when the energy crisis kicks in, things should get really interesting. Right, that's it for this one, people. You know the routine: like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Completely up to you. So until the next one, bye bye.